come to do the Azadari of Imam Hussain and kindness. Think about the children of Hussain. This is of what at least let's make that worth it. Like we have namaz, we have roza, we have hajj, zakat, khums and so on. These are wajib upon us. For you to cry over Abdullah Hussain. These choices matter the same way our wajibat matter. To fulfill our... What are we doing to build our character? I mentioned in my... Then you are succeeding every day. Whether it be just taking breath, whether it be sleeping, whether it be waking up in the morning, going to your daily duties, if you do it in the way of the Ahlul Bayt, in the way of Allah, and you do it with the niyat of qurbatan ilallah, anything you do, Jannah is guaranteed upon you. One day, inshallah, if Allah meet Abu Abdullah and Hussain, and just imagine this in your head. You know his tragedies, you know his discipline, you know everything he's been through. If he stood in front of you today, when you come in, you have... If they did this for Hazrat Abbas, some people will say, and said, why do you... The Moulana goes on now, if those were your women, and grief that was built up inside of him saying, if that was my people, the people that we grieve for, the people that we learn from, be a flag, but with the intention and the feeling that flag could themselves, we have Dawood's here to have that feeling, to have... That's our main goal, that's our main dua. Oh Allah, grant us the opportunity to look left and right and see the shrines of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. This is why we do it, this is why we take importance to it. Everything you do in these first 15 years of your life becomes a habit that even if anyone tries, they can't stop you. The way college or wherever you go, it becomes a routine. These aspects of azadari and take these aspects of wajibat within off the Ahlul Bayt's path, they won't be successful. Because it would be so fitted within your heart, that intention, that feeling, away from it. We must constantly think. Understanding that these 2 months are given for azadari, these 2 months are given. But is that enough just to do in the 2 months? No. Fine, don't cry every day. That's fine. Don't do matam every day. That's fine. But take something that you can. Just for me to say that I'm perfect, I can say this. No. This is for everyone to learn from, even myself. We all make mistakes. We all do wrong. We all sometimes fall into this world. Sometimes I feel bad for the youth myself because we're surrounded by people who have judgments. They have their beliefs and opinions that they try to put on us. There's many things that can force us to change or go away from the path of the Ahlul Bayt. Surrounded by these people who don't understand the feeling or understand the concept, and they make us question it ourselves. But for the sake of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, for the sake of his children, remember this. Even Shaitan tried to tail away. Why it was so easy for him to give bayat and nothing of this had happened. He could have given bayat to Yazid and everything would have been fine. His family would have been fine. Why did it right thing to do? Many a times we think, oh, this is at least you can go on the Day of Judgment in front of Abu Abdullah. The more pain and suffering in this world, like I'm saying, oh Allah, I am grateful that I'm here today because I'm doing this for the sake of you. He was grateful that he could send off his children and say, look, I sacrificed in the name of Allah. Look at his personality, look at what he's done. We could never compensate totally to what they did, that's understandable. We're not perfect. But that essence of trying, that essence of hope that we have, that essence of feeling, and our intentions in these 2 months are key. Yesterday we were mourning the shahadat of the son of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. We saw that he had taken him to the tent, he'd taken him to the battlefield. sacrificed his son. Today, who are we talking about? Talking about the brother of Imam Hussein, his son Hazrat Qasim. And I just want to take you back for a moment. Think about these children for a second before we talk about their shahadat. They're not really old children, they're very young. Hazrat Qasim, you see our children suffering here, for example, you know, children, they run around a lot, they graze their knee. The parents, how they feel, just to see the tears in the eyes of their children. They can't bear it. Think about all those children. It wasn't one or two. There was many children trampled by the horses. Who are we talking about today? Hazrat Qasim. It's the day of Shabi Ashur, when Imam al-Hussein was reading out the list of responsibilities, reading out the list of the shuhada who will be killed. He goes through the name one by one by one. Hazrat Qasim, he doesn't hear his name. He stands up and he asks, "Oh uncle, is my name not in this list? Am I not one of those who will be shaheed?" Imam al-Hussein comes to Hazrat Qasim and he says, "Look, your name is in here, don't worry. You'll be called as well. Even look, Ali Asgar's name is in this list as well." On hearing this, Hazrat Qasim says, what do you mean Ali Asgar's name in this? "Oh uncle, will the people of Yazid even come to the tents? These tents in which my mother is, these tents in which my aunties are, where all these women and children are, will those people of Yazid come to the tents as well?" Imam al-Hussein says, "No, don't worry. I will take Ali Asgar myself and I will take him to the battlefield. You don't need to worry about that. Ashur is here now." What happens? Bodies are coming one by one. Hussein and Hazrat Abbas are bringing back the bodies of each shuhada one by one back to the camps, bringing it to the women so they can cry upon them and do the azadari that they need to. Hazrat Qasim goes many times to Imam al-Hussein and he asks, "Oh uncle, is it my turn to go yet?" What did Imam al-Hussein say? He says, "Look, oh Qasim, every time I look at your face, I remember your father, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. Every time I look at your face, I remember the memories with my brother, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. I remember the tragedies that we went through together. I remember that night where we saw our mother's janazah going in the middle of the night. I remember seeing our father laying in Masjid Kufa. Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein were together in those moments. Every time I look at your face, oh Qasim, I remember my brother and remember the memories I spent with him. I can't give you the permission, I don't have the strength to." Every time Hazrat Qasim used to go back to the tents. He used to go back to the tents. There was one time he went back, he sat on the ground, he put his knees towards his chest and laid his head on his knees and he began to cry. Farwa, the mother of Hazrat Qasim, she says to Lady Zainab, she says, "Oh Zainab, I think this is the cries of my son Qasim. Oh Zainab, why would he be crying?" Farwa goes to the tent in which Hazrat Qasim was. She opens the curtain of the tent and what does she see inside? She sees her son crying on the ground. She sees that he's weeping and he's worried. He doesn't know what to do. Farwa goes to him. She says, "Oh my son Qasim, what is the matter? Why are you crying? And why are you here? I got you ready myself. I prepared you myself to be in the battlefield to fight for Imam al-Hussein. Why are you sat here?" He looks up at his mother and he says, "Oh mother, I've tried so many times to go to my uncle and ask for permission. All he says is that whenever he looks at my face, he remembers my father, Imam al-Hasan. He doesn't give me permission to go." Farwa then says to him, "Look, when your father passed away from this world, he left with you a taweez, he left with you a letter. And he said, whenever my Qasim is in any musibat, whenever he's in any doubt or any worry, tell him to open this letter, open this taweez." Imam Hazrat Qasim, he then wipes his tears from his eyes. He quickly opens the letter, but what is written in that letter? What has his father said for him? In the letter he says, إِذَا وَجَعْتَ أَمَامَكَ الْحُسَيْنِ غَرِيبًا مَظْلُومًا أَتَشَانًا وَخِيدًا. If you remember from yesterday, I said these same words. Oh, the Imam was feeling lonely, he was feeling thirsty. In the letter it says, oh my son Qasim, when you see your uncle lonely, when you see him thirsty, don't hold back. Go and fight for him. Hazrat Qasim begins to have a sense of happiness on his face. He quickly stands up. He runs to his uncle Hussein. He says, oh uncle, now you can't stop me from fighting for you. Imam al-Hussein looks at him with tears in his eyes because I think at this moment he knows what's going to happen. Imam al-Hussein asks, what is it? Why can't I? Hazrat Qasim says, look at this. Look what my father has left. Imam al-Hussein begins to read the letter. He suddenly stops for a moment, tears in his eyes. He looks towards Medina and he says, oh my brother Hassan, oh Imam al-Hassan, you remembered me in my time of need. Oh Hassan, I remember everything we did together. Now I'm stood here alone. I have no one with me, but look, you still remembered me. Imam Hussein now had no choice. After reading this letter, he began to prepare Hazrat Qasim. Hazrat Qasim, every time Imam al-Hussein would put an armor on him, he would see that Hazrat Qasim's body was too weak, it was too frail. No armor would fit him. No chest piece, no helmet would fit the body of Hazrat Qasim. Hazrat Qasim turns to the Imam after many trials. He says, look, leave all these armors, just put me on the horse, I'm ready to go. If you think about it, when all the others went, they had their armor. When they were hit, they had at least some protection. This small child is going to the battlefield like you and I with nothing on. Just a plain t-shirt and imam on his head. He goes into the battlefield. He fights as much as he can. He gives all of his strength. A soldier comes from behind, strikes him on the head. He can't balance anymore. As he's falling towards the ground, he cries out, oh uncle, oh Hussein, come and save me. Oh uncle, come for my help, I need you. When we look at the Riwayat, what does it say? Every time that someone would be Shaheed, Imam al-Hussein would go and collect the body. Imam al-Hussein was just about to leave, but what did he see? He saw the horses of the soldiers began to run back and forth. The horses were trampling over the ground. What did he see? Over the body of Hazrat Qasim, he saw the horses trample over his body. His body became into pieces. His hand was somewhere else. His leg was somewhere else. His torso was somewhere else. This child, they didn't even leave his body in one piece. Imam al-Hussein reaches the body parts. He collects them in his abba and he says, oh Qasim, believe me, I was on my way. I was coming for you, but I was too late. Oh Qasim, forgive me. Imam Hassan, forgive me. I did what I could. He brought the pieces back to the tents, to the women. Farwa begins to cry. The women begin to do matam, begin to cry, oh Qasim, what has happened to you? What have they done to your body? Azadar Hussein, oh people who cry for Hussein know this. These tragedies, we are just listening to them and there's pain in our hearts. There's that feeling that we can feel of our hearts tearing apart inside of us. Oh Azadar, think about the people who are in Karbala. Think about the children who had to witness this. Think about the parents who had to witness this. What would they be feeling? Allah la'natullahi ala qawmi adh-dhalimin wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalabin yanqalibun. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ridam qada'i wa tasliman amri. We raise our hands and we pray, O Allah, accept our bursa. O Bibi Fatima, accept our tears. O Hussein, accept our grief and our intentions in this month that we are doing for you. O Allah, bless the mothers and fathers who bring their children into the Majalis of Imam al-Hussein, who teach them the path of wilayah, who fill them with the path of the Ahlul Bayt. O Allah, bless those people who are ill, who are unwell with shifa, with the wasila of Imam al-Sajjad, Bimari Karbala. O Allah, bless the marhum who used to be sat in these majlises with us but now are not able to be in these majlises. O Allah, we pray you reappear the hisn of Imam Zamana alayhi salatu wassalam. Salawat Pari Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Ali Muhammad.